everyone. Welcome to our Quarterfinals 3 episode of AGT Time. Cody Patterson here along with
Jay Bach. We're doing season 14. This is our last quarterfinals round. Then we'll have 2 semifinals and a finals coming up.
I'm excited, Jay. It's getting real out there.
It's getting real. We're winnowing down. We're getting rid of the acts that are some of the chaff and being left with just the cream of the crop here.
Yeah, I'm not
to
sure
mix some metaphors, I guess.
I'm not sure we had much chaff this week. This was a pretty stacked week.
Yeah, I think it was pretty good. It was pretty good compared to other quarterfinal rounds. Yeah,
compared to a 10-minute performance from last week, this one seemed a little more tight.
It was a little more tight. I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
All in all, great episode. I think we're off to a great season. Excited to see what the rest of the season has in store for us. We're going to see a winner here in just a few weeks' time.
Yeah, we're getting down. It's crunch time. We lost some. I thought a couple of pretty good acts this week. They announced that next week we're going to get a wild card, judges wild card. I hope that wild card comes from either this week or last week. There was one last week that was really good. There was a couple this week that were really good that got sent home. So I hope the judges do us right and bring back a pretty good act.
Yeah, and I'd have to believe that the wild card would come from at least one of these last 3 episodes. It wouldn't come from pre-judge cuts, right?
Correct. I would guess that they would bring them from quarterfinals. Yeah,
okay.
An act that was sent home from quarterfinals.
Good. Well, let's jump into it here. We've got 12 acts tonight. Only 7 of them are going through, which means that there are 5 that are going to be eliminated. And we've sort of the way we've been going through it is giving our thoughts on each of the acts and then not necessarily spoiling it until we get to the results. And again, I've got crazy things going on in my life. I wasn't able to watch the results show before the episode. I did read a recap of the results, but I'll let you kind of walk us through when we get that far.
Yeah, sounds good. There's a couple other things that went on during the results show that I really enjoy, so we'll talk about those as well.
Perfect. All right. Well, first act of the night was Terry Crews' Golden Buzzer, the Detroit Youth Choir. Really kind of sweet when he was introducing them. He kind of got emotional about it. Like he really loves, he loves the acts, but he really loves what this act stands for as well. What do you think of the Detroit Youth Choir?
So Terry got a little choked up. He's from I don't think he's from Detroit, but he's from Michigan, kind of the Detroit area. So this kind of hits home for him, his Golden Buzzer. Right. They sang the Champion by Carrie Underwood and Ludacris.
Right. And again, I'm not really hip on the modern music these days that the kids are listening to. But this, is what they do. This is the Detroit Youth Choir kind of song, right? They take something that's hip hop, they make it something that's they arrange it to be able to be sung by them, and they go out and they bust it out. It's a high energy, big smiles. You can tell that these kids really enjoy being on stage. They really enjoy performing. So all in all, it's a fun act to watch. I don't know that they're great. I don't know that their talent is on par with, a top 10 kind of act, but they're fun to watch. Yeah.
They are fun to watch. This is, I think, the only other choir that we have, other than in Lovu, youth choir from Africa.
Right.
But I think I enjoy the African choir a little bit more than the Detroit choir. I think both are fantastic. They have a lot of fun. They love being here. Their dancing is on point. Their singing is on point. Lots and lots of energy. It was a great way to open this episode. But if I had to put the two of them together, I personally would go with the African choir. a little bit ahead of the Detroit Choir.
Yeah, it's hard not to compare these head to head. They're so similar. I would agree with you. Ndlovu Youth Choir is the better of the two. I think better musically. I think more entertaining to look at. I enjoy the Ndlovu Youth Choir more than the Detroit Youth Choir. But for taking that comparison off the table, which is hard to do because it really is apples and apples, right?
Yeah. It literally is apples and apples. Yes.
Detroit Youth Choir, they're good. Wouldn't be terribly surprised to see them go through.
Agreed. So I thought this was a fantastic way to start off the episode. Gabrielle said they're unbeatable, they're invincible. They're not V unbeatable. They're just unbeatable.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Howie told them they're champions. They're inspiring.
Yeah. And I navigated off my judge's notes here.
Julianne agreed with Howie. This is bigger than AGT. Better when they're together.
Julianne, she's always looking for those, ethereal, like this is what life is about kind of comments. And sometimes I don't think that she necessarily hits the mark, but
and we'll notice it. We noticed it kind of last week, and we'll notice it a little bit more this week that both Julianne and Gabrielle really don't have anything bad to say. Even when something didn't go right or they didn't enjoy it, they always put a positive spin on it.
I'm okay with that. And there's room for criticisms or for critiques, but they look for something positive to say, even if it is, you did a pretty good job of washing your feet before you threw the knife. Simon, he said, just on the package alone, it would make me want to vote you through. You were fantastic. You're better than your first audition when they got Terry Crews's golden buzzer. So high praise from Simon. My thoughts, I didn't think the singing was great. I didn't think the dancing was, there's better dancers, there's better singers out there. But man, they've got the story. Keep leaning on the feels, and America's got feels. You might make it another a little further than we thought.
Yeah, Simon throwing out the America's Got Fields there just by saying with the package that he would vote them through.
Yeah, it's a little bit much maybe.
Did you notice Simon's wardrobe tonight?
I noticed that he had on a red shirt.
He had on a red shirt. What is going on with the red shirt?
I don't know. He is busting out. I wasn't 100% sure that I was watching the right TV show.
Yeah, I thought I had my colors all set wrong on my TV.
Yeah, it wasn't black. It wasn't white. It was that crazy Simon Cowell wearing a red shirt.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here, but I like it. I actually like it. It's a little bit different. Simon's kind of having a little bit of a resurgence this year from his old American Idol days. He's giving criticism. He's saying he doesn't like things. He's telling people they need to do better. I'm liking the Simon Cowell of old.
He's definitely leaned on his ex a lot more than the other judges.
Agreed. Yes.
Which I think is pretty typical of Simon Cowell, but he's besides being a judge, he knows what makes pretty good TV too. That's kind of his. It's what he does, right? He produces the whole Got Talent franchise. It's sort of his baby. So he knows what makes good TV, and he knows what do I want to say? If he makes a little bit of controversy, that's good for the show.
Agreed, and that's what we're all here for. We're not just here to see someone win a talent competition. We want entertainment, and we don't want just entertainment from our performances. We love our entertainment from our judges as well.
Yeah, I kind of am just here to see a talent show.
Okay, well, there you go. Sorry, I'm speaking for America here, Jay.
All right. So, no, it's a TV show. It needs to be a TV show first, and it needs to pull in ratings. And sometimes that controversy is what pulls in ratings before anything else.
Yeah,
so.
And I was saying at the beginning of the season that I felt the judges were getting along too well. They were agreeing too much. And then once we hit the live shows, I felt like, boom, we they started having controversy and disagreements, and I mean I don't want them to like hate each other. It really bothered me when Mel B would stand up and throw ice or water at him, but I like to see a little controversy, a little disagreement. I think that makes a better show. It makes you think a little bit. I don't want them agreeing 24/7 on everything.
No, I don't want them agreeing, but I don't think that we need to make controversy for controversy's sake either.
Yeah, agreed. Yep. I agree to disagree. No.
Good enough. All right. Second act of the night was Lucas and Falco. This is a young gentleman and his dog. They dance, do tricks together. I'm not sure exactly what you would call it, but
sure.
Freestyle dog tricks. What'd you think of the act on this week?
Well, first I got a comment that speaking of dogs, I know you all listening can't see this, but Jay's little dog is laying right behind him, kind of watching over his shoulder. So,
oh man,
yeah. So, no, I liked this. Lucas said that he was going to teach Falco some new tricks. They were going to do some different stuff. Mentioned in the package that Falco's getting a little older. He talked about that early on in auditions as well. That once this is over, he's probably going to look at retiring Falco. Falco looks like he still has a little bit of energy left. I can understand what happens to dogs when they get a little older. I kind of have a little America's Got Feels lately. I'm sure a lot of people are not aware of this, but I had to say goodbye to my dog a few weeks ago. That was a very, very powerful moment for me when I had to do that. So, watching Falco, knowing that he's getting a little older, that his retirement is coming up, and that he's going to get to sit at home on his bed and kind of watch the next generation of Falcos learn some tricks. But watching this was fun. Lucas and Falco were kind of they were miniaturized. That kind of. So they were kind of in a garden or a yard, and
it looked like a maybe Honey I Shrunk the Kids or a Alice in Wonderland kind of a set.
Right.
That was large blades of grass, a large spool of thread, all sorts of things like that they were using to interact and do their tricks around. Were there any particular tricks that jumped out to you?
Nothing really jumped out in particular. They did a jump rope trick. They did some tricks where you had to weave in and out of some poles, and I think we've seen a lot of the dogs do this in various competitions. I think he climbed up like a die, like the top of a die, and had to jump off. There wasn't any one particular trick that stuck out. I know he said he taught him some new tricks. I didn't personally see anything new and different and exciting here. I still like seeing the one-on-one friendship and not really master owner human dog. I like the one-on-one human dog interaction more than the group of dogs.
You can tell that Lucas and Falco have a really tight relationship.
Right. Yes.
They spend time together and they communicate with each other very well.
Yes.
The one trick they did that I had never seen before, Lucas, he did like a handstand sort of thing, or a headstand. It was like his head on the ground, his hands on the ground, and like his knees were up on his elbows, so his feet were kind of pointing out behind him. And then Falco put his feet up on Lucas's feet, so they were both balanced up on their front paws.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really cute little trick, something that I'd never seen before. I don't even know how you'd begin to train a dog to do a trick like that, but that was a good one. And then I also marked down he jumped from the top of that box. He's probably started like 10 feet in the air down to his arm, so like a 5-foot drop. Like that's a pretty big drop and a pretty big trick for a dog to trust his Lucas like that.
That's right. Yeah, that pose that you mentioned, I did actually write that down, and that's a yoga pose, and it's called it's called the crow pose.
The crow pose.
Yes.
All right.
So it's
not the downward-facing dog.
Not the downward-facing dog. No, that would have
Okay.
been great to see too. But the crow pose is a very difficult pose to do. I wrote down in my notes because my little Bailey used to do this all the time. That I called that her puppy yoga.
Puppy
So,
yoga.
yeah,
There you go.
That's the one thing I did write down. The crow pose. Simon really liked this.
He did. He said Falco was unbelievable, better than Lucas tonight.
Yeah, I think Falco's been better than Lucas almost every week.
Yeah, Julianne said you pulled out all these new tricks. It got 10 times better. Gabrielle said you went back to the drawing board. You came out with new tricks. Howie said, I didn't see new tricks. It's an old dog, not new tricks.
Yeah.
Move on.
Yeah.
So he was not impressed. And, I think maybe Howie was... a dog trick is a dog trick is a dog trick is a dog trick, whereas the others were saying, no, he did it this way and he did it that way and he did it that way. So, maybe a little more minutiae is what the other judges saw compared to Howie. But, I thought this was a pretty enjoyable act for what it's worth. If they make it through, my advice would be keep finding new tricks. One thing that I noticed is they kind of stuck with a theme. They had the Greatest Showman theme. They've got this miniaturized theme. And sometimes a theme can feel really cheesy, but if they didn't have a theme at all, it would just feel like a string of tricks stuck together.
Yep.
So I would say stick with a theme if you can in any way possible. Yep.
Did you happen to notice the song they're performing to?
I did not write it down.
Small Things by Bowling for Soup.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
Small
Yeah,
things.
That's right. Gabrielle did mention that there was a nod to American Ninja Warrior. Did you happen to catch that?
I heard the comment, but I'm not sure what that was in reference to.
Okay, I didn't catch it either, so I'm not for sure. I'm not a big American Ninja Warrior watcher. I've watched a few episodes, but I'm not a regular watcher.
I think I saw a commercial for American Ninja Warrior, and there was a dog running up the warped wall in the preview, and that's all that I know. So it was probably a reference to that.
Okay, well. It's an NBC show, so they got to cross promote there.
All right. Well, to all our faithful listeners out there, if you want to enlighten us, please send us a comment in all the ways that you can.
Well, next we get Dom Chambers.
Dom Chambers. He's our Australian magician. He did the beers in the boot and the what else did he do? I don't know. He has kind of these.
He's made alcohol appear. That's all that I know.
Yeah. Right. He poured the drink out of the iPhone in the last one.
Yep.
So this one was a pretty straightforward trick. He pulled it off with sort of a math lesson that he was able to work backwards on. But he did sprinkle in some more traditional magic in there as well. He poured a beer between him and the screen. He changed shirts with one of the guys on the screen. So I guess take a step back. Dom and 12 Doms on the screen. He's got a big grid.
Look like a Brady Bunch.
Yeah, like a Brady Bunch grid. He pre-recorded himself in all these different grids and different outfits, and he interacts with that just a little bit, and then he gets down to sort of the big trick that overarched all his few sort of smaller tricks sprinkled in throughout. But the big trick was he had Terry Crews pick out some directions from a bowl, and randomly as we followed those directions, we all landed on the screen that had Tapeface highlighted, and bada boom, bada bing, Tapeface appeared out of nowhere. So
that was fantastic.
I think it was really, really cool to bring Tapeface on stage. He always brings a smile to my face. The trick itself, like I said, it's just sort of a math trick more than anything for that big trick. But sprinkling in the other tricks, having Tapeface, and Tapeface did, more or less appear out of nowhere as far as we could tell. It was fun. It was fun to watch. It was memorable. What do you think?
This is one of those tricks it's a very common type of trick that magicians do. but I love his spin on it. I love his take on it. First off, he's a very good entertainer. He owns the stage. He interacts with the crowd. He got Terry Crews involved. I just love his presentation. That's his best talent. The magic is kind of right below that, but the best thing he's got is his presentation. Did you happen to catch the 12 AGT contestants that he had up on his big board?
I didn't write down who they all were.
Okay.
I know I saw Darcy Lynn and
Yep.
What else did you have to say?
So I'm gonna go through all of them. I'm gonna see if this kind of sounds familiar. So we had Piff, Sacred Rihanna, Preacher, Shin Lim, Grace Vanderwall, Darcy Lynn, Jackie Ivanko, Tape Face, John Dornboss, Paul Zerden, Bianca Ryan, and Courtney Hadwin.
Okay.
Do you want to know why all of those? I mean, obviously those are former AGT contestants.
Were they all like season 13 and champions?
They were all in champions. They were not in 13 because Jackie Ivanko, that was a long time ago. Sacred Rihanna's not been really on AGT. All of them were on champions.
Sacred Rihanna was on champions?
Sacred Rihanna was on champions. Yeah.
Man, I didn't care for her brand of magic, but no, that's okay. So and I guess the Got Talent franchise is extending into other countries. They've got the champions version going on in other countries. I wouldn't be terribly surprised if the producers say, like, these are the 12 faces that we want you to use, so go with it.
Yeah. I noticed that some of these are getting. We've had Bianca Ryan, we've had Susan Boyle, so it seems like they're bringing back some of these champions contestants to kind of perform during season 14. They're really promoting their champions, so it's
what brings people to the screen as well.
I guess so, but I really like the way he did this. Tape Face was the ultimate one that they picked. He had the curtain that said everyone picks Tape Face, and then he even had a little card that said, "Hey, Simon's not going to stand up." So
yes,
and then to make Tape Face actually appear on the stage was a wonderful ending. They brought Tape Face back too. So I thought overall he was one of the best performances of the night.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
I felt like the size of the trick was appropriate.
Yes.
Like you said earlier, the tricks are good enough. His stage presence is even better. Simon said, "I love the fact that we being totally stupid makes you look better. It was genius, best performance by a mile." Julianne said, "It's really cool. You make magic cool. It's interactive, and it was one of the greatest acts that you've done." Gabrielle said, "I believe you make people believe you are magic." Howie said, "Tape Face said it best. There's no words."
There are no words. That's right.
No words to describe how good you are.
Yeah.
So yeah, really great act. Be surprised if we don't see him go through.
Agreed. Now, Jay, every week I track how long the performances take.
Oh, yeah.
This week, everyone, I've introduced a spreadsheet. I've started keeping track of things in a spreadsheet. I'm getting all high tech here because, I'm IT, do that type of stuff.
We love data.
We don't know what to do with it, but we love to put it in. So, looking at Dom Chambers compared to everyone else. So I'm just going to say I've even got the averages for how long each performance was.
Oh, boy.
So on average for that night, the average time for a performance was 2 minutes and 34 seconds.
Okay.
He went 5 minutes on his performance.
Really?
So they gave him some extra time, and I think it worked. I think he actually needed it. He filled that entire time. There wasn't any downtime.
It didn't feel like 5 minutes. Yeah.
It did not feel like 5 minutes, but he was at 5 minutes. He was the longest of the whole night at almost 8 minutes. So they gave him a lot of time, and I think it really, really helped.
Wow. Yeah. Good act all around. High praise from the judges. High praise from me at least.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Would you give him any advice? Anything that you would say? When you're getting into semifinals, this is what you got to do what you got to be ready for?
I don't think so. I think every week he has stepped it up. He's changed it up. He's one of these. His I don't like these big productions with lots of lights and I do like fire, but lots of lights, lots of fire.
Right.
Hanging upside down, getting almost smashed by the jaws of life or whatever it may be. But I do like the smaller ones. Like I like the John Dornbosses that do small magic but make it more entertaining. I think his is just the right size. It's not too big. It's not too small. I think he's very engaging. He brought Terry Crews on. Maybe next time bring one of the other judges up on the stage. I can't give him much more advice than to just do what you do, man. Keep bringing the alcohol. Keep bringing people up on stage. You're on track to. I don't know if he's a finalist. He's definitely a finalist. Is he a top 5? Maybe. I don't know if he's a winner, but he's definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, he's one of the best. I don't see him as a top tier candidate for winning, but yeah, we'll plan to see him again.
Yep.
But all right, next act of the night was Benicio Bryant. This was an original song by Benicio. Thoughts?
In Benny's, I'm going to say Benny's. I think they
fine.
call him Benny early on in auditions. So I'm going to go with Benny. I think in Benny's intro, he sang the national anthem in a Mariners game. That's pretty cool for a kid. That's
definitely.
Yeah. And then his dad and Benny just sitting in the stands, kind of just reflecting on Benny's life, Benny's childhood, just talking about how proud he is of him. And I thought it was a really good moment of just a father-son moment at a baseball game. Was really kind of cool.
Yeah. A very, very pleasant opening. The song itself, I was not particularly impressed with. And I would say throughout the season, I haven't been that impressed with Benicio. He's fine. I have nothing to complain about. It's just not great. Nothing particularly memorable.
Yeah, I have not been big on Benny all season as well, and I even went back and watched his a second time because I wanted to get the lyrics down.
Yeah.
And watching it a second time and focusing on it a little more, I actually enjoyed this a little bit more the second time around than I did the first time.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's like my favorite. I'm not saying it's a top notch. I just enjoyed it a little bit more. I liked that it was original. I wrote down some of the lyrics.
What do you got for lyrics?
So I didn't get everything, but I got kind of the gist of it. So the song is Who I Am. So it kind of starts out, I know things are different. I hope you can understand. Making my decisions, doing the best I can. And then it kind of jumps to the chorus and just it's who I am. Don't let me forget who I am. Don't let me forget who I am. And that's kind of the gist of the whole song. But my only criticism with what he did was I would like to see maybe backup singers. If you notice throughout the song, he had kind of an echo that was pre-recorded. Harmonies seemed pre-recorded.
Yeah,
I would like to have had backup singers.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe a live band or something like that would have really woken up that performance.
Yeah.
This was him on the stage with a microphone and a backup track. Maybe that's sort of where my problem with it was. I was not really engaged by it. I was pretty meh on it overall.
Yeah, I was above average, I would say. Going in first time I was average. I was like he's middle of the pack. Watching a second time, I probably bumped him up a couple of spots, not a whole lot. But I think, if he were to go to the next round or, if he continues on, get backup singers, get a live band. Don't just sing to a backing track. I think it always adds something when you have live performers on the stage rather than singing to a backup track. And we'll see that as well when we get to Mackenzie later on.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Judges' comments. Gabrielle said, "You're a rock star. The whole thing makes you a rock star. You have it." Julianne said, "I've been waiting for this moment. I think you did an unbelievable job." Simon said, "I love you. You've got a natural talent." My advice would have been strip it down and just needed you and maybe just one instrument. But you've got a great future. But Simon's saying drop the backing track as well. Howie said, I didn't respond to that song, but the national anthem in the package was amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
They generally pretty high praise, not 100%, all on board. But, if I was going to give him advice, I'd say, don't be afraid of doing covers. Don't be afraid of doing them, the Benicio way. Change the stage performance. This kind of felt karaoke.
Ooh, karaoke. Wow, we'll get to karaoke later on.
A little bit.
Yep, and I agree with Simon. The production just seems a little overdone. And this is his show, and then he calls out production about, hey, the backing track's ridiculous, the lights are ridiculous. Why is he not? I mean, I know he probably doesn't even show up till the day of the show, but why is he not getting with production and say, look, we don't need all this crap. Just tone it down, let him sing his song, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, it's kind of curious, for this being his baby, like, and how does production work? Are they forcing some songs to be sung? Are they, some people have very big, very wild stage productions. Others, it's very, not very stark, I guess.
Simplified, minimalistic, yeah.
So, it's really interesting the way that the different acts are produced. Hard to say why that is or what's going on behind the scenes, but I don't know. It's maybe not in his hands what production does with him, but I think that he could be better produced and maybe be a little bit more engaging if they did it right.
Yeah, I would say things like the backing track, the volume levels, all of that, and that's definitely on your sound guy up in the booth.
Yeah.
My wife watched a little bit with this. She watched particularly Barry Wham and him with me, and just noticed that the levels were way off. And so I've noticed throughout the season that the levels have been off for some reason.
Yeah. All right. Well, next act of the night, if you're ready to move on.
Yeah. Now we've got some karaoke.
One of my favorites is Gonzo.
Now, does he have Camilla with him?
Well, she did show up on the for the judges' comments. His translator.
Oh, I was talking about
Camilla's the chicken. No,
yes.
That Gonzo.
Yeah.
No Camilla. Okay. But he did bring some backup dancers.
Yes, he did.
We more of the same Gonzo that we know, right? He's coming out. He's doing his tambourine, but he's got his backup dancers. It's like 4, 12, 13-year-old boys that are dancing with him.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh, and the boys were fantastic too.
Well, so here's the problem: is that when your backup dancers can do what you do, it doesn't make what you do look that impressive.
I don't know about that. Maybe it's if he trained them well, then maybe he's that good after all. Maybe they were not able to do it earlier in the week.
His talent is not training people to dance. His talent is playing tambourine.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't think he needed the backup dancers. I didn't think that they added a whole lot. He's kind of plateaued, right? Like there's not a whole lot more that he can do other than just keep doing what he does to a different song. So
no, he's peaked.
Definitely sort of at a peak, but man, like legitimately as a tambourine player, he's good.
Yeah.
He's on point. Like he's in rhythm and he, jingles at the right times. It's great. He played very well. He made the tambourine as entertaining as you can make it.
Well, now he only does this because he can't sing karaoke.
That's fine. We learned that in his intro package.
Yes, we did.
They of course overdid his bad singing, but I really enjoyed this performance. I smiled throughout, and do you want to entertain me? I'm entertained.
Yeah,
keep it up.
You can't do anything but smile when he's on stage.
Yeah,
Yes.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's
and
great.
They even had beach balls with his face on it. He wore a onesie that had like a little emoji face of him.
Yeah.
They went all out to really ramp up the comedy on Gonzo.
Yeah. Yeah.
The campiness.
Definitely did. Judge's comments, Howie gave him a standing ovation. He said, "You know how less is more?" Well, this is so much less.
Yes.
And I would go to see this. It's crazy and campy and silly. Gabrielle said, "There's so much to love." She liked the 4 dancers, and you are special and unique. Julianne said, "That was your best performance. Because of the 4 backup dancers, I was thoroughly entertained." Simon said, "The good news is it didn't last very long. You did nothing."
Right. Which is what Howie really liked.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fine. Less is more, right?
Yes, less is more.
Now, it is a comedy act.
Yes, it is. Yes.
And I smiled throughout.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's funny. It's silly. This will be the end of the road for Gonzo, but I like him.
Yeah, absolutely. You totally skipped over that Simon gave him a buzz.
I did not write that down.
Oh, yeah. So he got a buzz from Simon. Got it pretty early on too. So Simon's apparently done with these type of acts.
He's over it.
Yeah.
On the off chance that he is put through as a wild card, or he happens to make it through on the night, what advice could you give to Gonzo moving forward?
I think it needs to be more campy. I think we need more backup dancers. You didn't. You also didn't. You skipped over that the trampoline was a tambourine.
There was a trampoline involved. I missed that the trampoline itself was a tambourine.
Yeah,
okay.
So the little base of it had the tambourine jinglies.
All right.
So there were tambourines all over the place.
Tambourines, coming out his nose.
He came out of a ball pit.
He did start in a ball pit as well. The production, they just are no bars held.
No. So the next thing would be, make it more campy. We need more backup dancers. It needs to be as silly as possible. Look as serious as possible. I mean, he's one of these that he looks like he's taking it seriously, but on the inside he knows that this is a comedy act.
Right.
Yeah.
And a good comedian does take it seriously,
yes, yeah.
right? It's an art form to be funny.
Yep.
We both kind of came around on Sethward, right? By the time we finally understood his act, we're like, oh, okay. This is it's an act. This isn't real, and he's really invested in this character.
Yes.
So again, I think it's fun. Now, the advice that I wrote was actually the opposite of yours. I said drop the backup dancers.
Oh. Okay.
And like I said earlier, it makes it look like there's any number of young kids who can do the same thing that you're already doing. So make it look like your talent stands apart.
Okay, there you go.
But don't stop being serious in your tambourine playing.
So would Benny's performance been better if he'd had tambourine?
It would have been. I would have paid a lot more attention if Gonzo had been on stage with him.
Or what if someone with the youth choir, they could have someone play tambourine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Howie, in his comments, he keeps going back to that tambourine. Have you considered tambourine? So he's all in. All right. That's all I got for Gonzo.
Yeah,
I love him.
Yep.
Unfortunately, that's the end we're going to see of him. So
it's a shame.
All right. 6th act of the night. We're hitting halfway point here. Marcin Puchalik.
Yeah.
He is, this is our guitar player.
Yeah.
He's the
Fantastic
guitar virtuoso.
Yeah.
What did you think of Marcin's act tonight?
So Marcin, all I have written down here is it felt like he was just riffing and jamming.
Yes.
I think Simon, and I'm going to go ahead and jump to the comments just real quick. Simon said that it seemed like he was all over the place, and I kind of felt it. Now, he's a fantastic guitarist. The picking, the sounds he makes, I mean, it's all just, no one does anything like this. This is one of the best types of acts I've seen. but I felt like it was all over the place. In his first audition, he actually played a song that we were familiar with, something we could kind of tune, we could kind of hear in our head. Oh, okay, I kind of recognize that. This it felt like he was just jamming, like he was just doing a jam session.
That's exactly my advice. I said play something recognizable.
Yes.
And there was a couple moments during his performance where you thought you heard a line, or where I thought I heard a line of a song that was recognizable, and then it sort of goes off into nothing, or into the jam that he's doing. So, but yeah, like my ears, I'm trying to constantly hear that recognizable thing. I'd love to hear him do. I thought of Linus and Lucy, like the do 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 do, and like get some of that groove going, or if you really wanted to take it to a crazy level, like some Dave Brubeck with like the Take 5 or the Blue Rondo a la Turk, the stuff that's like a really strange time signature. I think that could be really engaging and really show his chops. So I think that there's some real potential there. But yeah, he's a really, really fun act. Really good to see. He could improve the recognizability and really improve his entertainment factor with that. So Simon said, "You're technically one of the most talented people we've ever had. The song was all over the place, but with the right song, you're a real contender." And I think that that's really about everything that I have to say about him is what Simon said right there.
Yeah.
So, Julianne said, "My body's just wanting to move. You create what other creators pull from, artistry at its finest." Gabrielle said, "I'm blown away. You're revolutionizing guitar for a whole new generation." Howie said, "You're like a one-man band. Have you ever thought about the tambourine?"
He's a one-man bander. One-man bander.
My ears perked up. Not enough love for the one-man bands out there, but no, really fantastic act. Really, I'm fully expecting him to go through at this point.
Okay. I think I had another comment. Oh, so Simon once again called out production and said that they should have stayed with the white background. He was like up on this platform where there was like a screen below him, and we'll have, I think, Mackenzie later on that's kind of the same way, where even the judges commented that he was like far away. So I'm not sure why they're placing these performers way back on the stage. Is that yeah,
I don't know either, but there was projections going on behind him and below him, and it was like close up of the guitar, and all sorts of things going on as he's hammering away. And again, technically, like, it's just worth saying, if you didn't see it, it's something that you really just need to like witness to actually see it. But he's using both hands on the fretboard. He's using his right hand to play rhythms on the guitar. It's hammer on, pull off. It's all sorts of just really interesting to watch technical stuff. One of my favorites of the night, really.
And I think during his package, they actually showed a close-up of his hands, and he grows his nails out. He's not using a pick on his fingers, not like a banjo player. He's actually growing his fingers out, or his fingernails out.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just part of what he does, because that's what he does to play guitar this well. That's, not something that I think he does intentionally. It's just what he does, right? It's yeah. So that's all I got from our scene. Anything else?
No, but he's got your namesake, OneManBander.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Next act of the night, our second magician of the night, was Eric Chen. He has Julianne on stage. You want to kind of walk through his act?
I can walk through his act. This is another one of those where we saw the intro first, and then we went to a commercial break and then came back, which they did last week, and we thought they did it just because the Sentimentalist went for like 4 hours. So you thought maybe they just ran out of commercial breaks, that they didn't have time to take one, but they did that again this week, which it kind of throws me off a little bit. I don't know if they have to prepare the stage or what they need to do, but they that's what they did. But in his package, he talked about having to go back to Taiwan to do his military service. He couldn't take anything with him, couldn't take his cards, and he would just be out on hikes, and he would find small objects, rocks or leaves or whatever it may be, and work on his magic while he was doing his 2-year military service.
Yep, practicing his sleight of hand.
Yep, absolutely. His trick this time involved M&Ms, like mini M&M minis, and Rubik's Cubes, and he would have a bowl of M&Ms. Even had Julianne eat a few of them, make sure they were actual M&Ms, and they were. And he would...
Right. No, he never did say M&Ms. He always called them chocolates.
Yeah, I know, but
Hershey's not on board here.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just little chocolate bits that melt in your mouth and not in your hand.
Right.
Or as Howie said, I don't know what's it. I don't think. Melts in your hands, not in your mouth.
Right. Okay.
But anyway, he would do these sleights of hand where he would convert the. I'm just going to say it, Jay. I'm sorry. No product placement here, but
no, that's fine. All right.
Little M&Ms into Rubik's Cubes, miniature Rubik's Cubes, full-size Rubik's Cubes. Some of them not solved, some of them already solved, and then at the end he took the Rubik's Cubes and converted them right back into M&Ms.
Yes. Yeah. The sleight of hand all throughout was pretty good. There was one bobble in the middle. Did you catch that?
I did catch that, yes.
Yeah, he was like a Pringles can. He was picking up the Rubik's Cubes in the bottom of the Pringles can and like mixing them around, and then they came out solved. But the first one didn't quite go in right. It just came out solved. And it was, there's one. Okay, we got 2 more.
He recovered fairly well.
He recovered just fine.
Yeah.
Just fine. I still don't know where the solved one came from or where the unsolved one went, but it was fun to watch.
Yeah.
And again, like you said, he solved it. He fixed it pretty well. Simon in the past, if there's a juggler that drops something, if there's a thing that goes wrong when you're expected to be perfect, he is quick on the buzzer, and he did not jump to the buzzer for Eric tonight, but that's the kind of thing that can really sour Simon on an act. It's something that like when I'm thinking of Eric's full body of work, that's something that kind of sticks out in my mind. He made a mistake. I don't know that he's A1 plus kind of talent when you're making mistakes like that.
Yeah, no, I don't think his magic, we keep comparing him to Shin Lim. I don't think his magic is as good as Shin Lim, but I do think his personality is better than Shin Lim.
I could agree with that. Yeah.
But you still got to have the magic. I think he recovered just fine. I think being able to recover is still the sign of a good magician. Hiding it is even better, and not saying "oops" or "uh-oh" or anything of that nature. Hiding the mistake and making it look like it was planned. That's the next level magician. Shin Lim, I don't know if he ever did make mistakes. He may have. We never knew. But
not that I saw.
Yeah, but I didn't. I think it was Howie that said, "This didn't wow me. I wasn't excited by this. I thought it was fine. I enjoyed Dom's performance much better than this. It just didn't seem to do anything for me."
Yeah, Simon said, "I think Dom was better than you tonight because I was getting bored with the close-up."
Yeah.
Julianne said, "I was gasping because I was right there on the stage. It's unbelievable. Nothing to be nervous about." Gabrielle said, "You're one of the best in the world. You did not disappoint." Howie said, "It's crazy, unique. You rose to the occasion, but this was smaller than Dom's."
Yeah.
So, again, it's really hard not to compare these two, head to head. They are the two magicians that we've got right now.
Yeah. Simon said he's getting tired of the close-up magic.
Yeah. The close-up, it translates just fine to the TV stage. Not great for the, stage.
Not for a 4,000 person stage, but you get the right room. You get maybe a small Las Vegas room.
A smaller venue.
Yeah, smaller venue. Then it's absolutely perfect. It doesn't work good for a big stage with 4,000 people in it.
Yep. Yeah, but make sure that you are clean. And other than that, I don't have a lot of complaints about his act or about him as a performer. I enjoy him a lot.
Now, I am glad that Julianne did not eat any more of those chocolates when he finished his performance.
They'd all been pretty well handled at that point.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Our next act of the night was our beatboxing quartet Barry Wham from France, right?
Yes. Yep.
And they did. I guess they kind of riffed on Carmina Burana.
Yeah. O Fortuna. Yep.
O Fortuna. I enjoyed this a lot. I really enjoyed, the fact that they sort of went to a classical music. I enjoyed the I guess making it more hip, more modern. I think the beats are fantastic. Got standing ovation from all four judges. What do you think of Barry Wham?
This is another one of my favorite acts. They keep throwing some of my favorite acts in this week, which as we get down to it, more and more are going to get in the same show. But this was another one of my favorite acts all the way from the beginning of the season. I think that they are way better than Pentatonics. I've never been a big fan of Pentatonics. I think these guys are better. They're more entertaining. The O Fortuna Carmina Burana was a good choice. Did you also notice they threw in Old Town Road?
I did catch that.
Yeah,
yes.
I don't know why that was thrown in there, but they kind of threw a modern song in there with it, and then went back to O Fortuna.
It makes people's ears perk up. I
guess
think.
you gotta.
I like that song. I like that riff. Yeah.
Then you can't really criticize them for. Oh, you need to do a song that people know. Well, they did, and then they also did a classic one.
Yeah.
The Carmina Burana is pretty famous. It's great for them with all the harmonies.
It's one of those songs that even if you don't know it, if you don't know what it is, you still know it.
Yeah,
you've heard it before.
You've heard it many times before. Yeah. I really like that. I'm a big behind the scenes guy. So I loved watching them come up the stage elevator. That was really cool.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
Production's done a really good job this year about showing us some behind the scenes, backstage type stuff. We see Terry coming from backstage all the time saying, hey, coming up next is this act. And we see some of that in the results show. So that type of stuff gets me excited. But overall, I thought they were fine. I mentioned earlier my wife watched this with me. She thought the levels were off on them for some reason. I didn't really notice it. She's got a better ear on this type of stuff than I do, though. I thought it was a really good performance.
There were issues throughout with some of the harmonies. It wasn't particularly tight on the harmonies. There were some very, very high notes that they were able to showcase. The beatboxing, the beats were fantastic throughout. Howie said, you guys are more than just beatboxing. Gabrielle said, y'all killed it. Julianne, I'm such a fan. This was a little bit more intimate, and it showcased some of your technicality. Simon said, some people are going to love it, others are going to hate it, but there's no questioning your talent. Yeah. So high praise from the judges. They, again, all gave standing ovations. I'm on board. I love Barry Wham. Really hope to see them go through.
Yeah, so Simon compared them to a thing called Marmite. You ever heard of Marmite?
I believe I've tasted Marmite before.
Really? Okay, because I kind of looked it up because I never heard of it. So do you remember your experience with Marmite?
I remember being told that I needed to spread it very thin.
Okay.
Because the flavor is very strong, and I did as followed and still felt that the flavor was too strong.
So you hated it and not loved it.
I was not in the love category, but I think
you're really dodging the answer there, question there.
I think, just like, the first time you had beer, you didn't think, oh yeah, this stuff is awesome. I want more of that. Or coffee or, anything else. It's an acquired taste.
Yeah. So according to the Marmite wiki, Marmite is a sticky, dark brown food paste with a distinctive, powerful flavor that is extremely salty. The distinctive taste is represented in the marketing slogan "Love it or hate it." So I wonder if Simon has stock in Marmite.
If not Stark, he at least, that phrase "love it or hate it" jumped out to him. That's what he chose to relate it to.
Do you think the next season of Britain's Got Talent is going to be Britain's Got Talent brought to you by Marmite?
I doubt it. No, but I do remember it sort of being like if soy sauce were a solid instead of a liquid, that's kind of what Marmite would taste like.
There you
go. All right. Well, any other thoughts on Barry Wham?
No, I love them. I hope production kind of fixes some of these levels. I'm not sure what's going on there. Every song they've picked has been top notch. It's been a lot of fun. They're a fantastic group.
Yeah. So. Very good singers, very good performers, very good arrangers. As we've said, that's part of the talent is arranging the songs, and they do marvelous.
Yep.
So,
yep.
I'm all on board. All right. Next act of the night is Matthew Richardson. This is a wild card coming back. He was eliminated. This is our hoop dancer. What do you call it?
A hoop artist.
Hoop artist. Yeah. It's acrobatic, you could call it.
There you go. Yeah.
So it's to ramp it up this time, he's got water coming down. There's splashing in and around him. At one point, he takes his hands off of the hoop and he's sort of anchoring his third point with his head, his feet and his head. There's a long shot of the judges in the middle that felt kind of weird, but they switch back to him and he's being lifted up in the air in the hoop like he had to have a second to attach the hoop to the crane. It does a lot of spinning.
Yeah, he does a lot of spinning.
Spinning and rolling. It's sort of his thing. He does it as fast or faster than I've ever seen anybody else do it. But I didn't think this was particularly his best performance. What did you think?
No, I was actually kind of like Simon. I was actually a little bored during this. It was interesting to see rain falling down. From what I understand, this trick is very difficult to do because it involves water. A lot of slippery moments could happen when working with a hoop. But
water in your face, like that's got to be difficult if you can't see or
right.
It's throughout.
He's also got this glitter all over his body, which I would think that if you introduce the water, that may smear it. But maybe they have some sort of glue that doesn't do that. But I don't know. I lost interest in watching this. I think it was Simon. The reason he got a buzz from Simon early on in the performance, and I think Simon kind of summed it up. You do basically the same thing every week. You're an acrobat, but all you do is the hoop. And I'm not sure if it's a full Vegas show. Now Julianne kept fighting him on that, but if all he's going to do is the hoop, I kind of agree with that. He's got to do maybe trapeze, or he's got to find something else to do to kind of fill some Vegas time other than just come out and do the hoop over and over and over again.
Yeah. I wonder if there were some amount of rhythm to it, if he was more interpretive, or if he was able to incorporate some sort of theme into a performance or something to maybe, say this is the end of me doing it that way, and now I'm doing it this way, and this is the end of doing it this way, now I'm going to do it that way, and sort of having different styles shown throughout that maybe would be a little bit more engaging for the audience. The ladies loved him. The gentlemen were not so impressed in the judges' comments. And I wonder if there's, some amount of sex appeal, a well-built young man, doing acrobatic things. It's, there's some amount of just enjoying watching him do that. Gabrielle said, the hoop, some water, that's a spicy Tuesday night in my book. Julianne said, you do belong, there, and that was phenomenal. Howie said it's more the same but moist, and Simon said our problem is it's not going further. It was you with a hoop. Now it's you with a hoop getting wet. So the guys wanted more. The ladies said you are more than enough. So very split on the judges. I enjoy that this is a variety act. I enjoy this act. At the end of the day, I was pretty bored with it. I agree.
Yep. Need a little more. I'd like to kind of see some danger, a little bit of danger, not a whole lot, but a little bit of danger involved in his act, and lose the hoop. Go to something else.
So how could he add danger on a platform?
Yeah, maybe on a platform. You did see. I guess I totally missed it. Did you say he got hooked to a rope and did he get pulled up and?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean I guess that's a little bit of danger, but I don't know. There's got to be other acrobatic things that he can do. Can he do any hand balancing? Can he do any trapeze work? Anything of that nature.
Yeah. So I don't know. Unfortunately, I didn't think that this was something that was going to be good enough to push him through, so I didn't really think much about what advice to give him.
Yeah,
so
that's fine.
All righty. Well, 10th act of the night, we're on to Mackenzie. He's a singer. Remind me of his intro package.
So he started getting into singing because he went to church. He went to he grew up in the church. When he started getting active in the church, he found his love for singing. That's basically his background. And that's all he does is sing. And I think Howie put it correctly. It's just singing. It's just that song.
Yep.
I need more. We didn't have backup singers. We didn't have instruments. It was basically him standing on I had wrote down moon rock, even though it's life on Mars, a Mars rock, just singing. And I mean, it's a famous song. It's one of David Bowie's most well-known songs. But it didn't do anything. It was just him singing. He could have sang this exact same song, done the exact same thing on American Idol, on X Factor, on what's one of the other ones? I don't know. There's like 3 or 4 of them. He could have done this exact same thing on one of those shows.
Yeah. I was not too engaged with this act. It was a singer on America's Got Talent. What else is there to say? Howie said, I'm a huge David Bowie fan. I'm a huge Mackenzie fan. But we have to hand it over to America, and it's just singing. Gabrielle said, you are enough. Your voice and talent is more than enough. Julianne, you have a power that's subtle. And I wanted to connect, but there was something missing.
I'm craving more.
She wanted to connect, but there was something missing. I felt like that was pretty insightful. That's good.
Yeah.
Simon said the last 20 seconds were the best part. When you finally let go, like he had been kind of holding back, and he finally was able to bust it out there for that very last part of it. And I was thinking we haven't really covered the length of the acts. Was there anything notable between the second and 10th acts here for time wise?
Not a whole lot. His intro was 56 seconds, which is below the average of 113. Oh, yeah. He's right on with the average for the performance. With the average is 234. He was at 228. The reactions were 220. I mean, and the total time 545. And the average is 558, so he's right in the average. The biggest stickouts were Dom Chambers, Eric Chin got a little bit longer. His performance was at 3 minutes. His entire thing was 6:33.
Both magicians.
Yeah, both magicians got some extra time. When we get to Jackie Fabulous here in a minute, she got a little bit extra time, not a whole lot. Everybody else was like right at average. So
okay. All right.
There was nothing that stuck out this week compared to last week.
All right. Yeah. Well, let's jump over to Jackie Fabulous next. She is our comedian from Jamaica. Her mom, I think, is willing to call her a comedian now, not a lawyer. Her performance itself, a lot of jokes about dating white men or dating black men who act like white men, and man, what did you think of Jackie Fabulous tonight?
I loved this. I loved her intro package. Her intro package was speed dating, and she met a couple of guys. One that couldn't hear what she was saying. One that was Hispanic, and she inadvertently called him a fat woman. One guy where she was explaining that she's going on America's Got Talent and that she could win $1 million. And then one guy that was telling her, wow, you're not nervous? There's like millions of people out there watching you. You don't have an issue with that, do you? So I kind of like that. It was fun. The act itself, again, mirrored that. It was all about dating and relationships. And I love that she stayed with the theme. She wasn't all over the board at all tied together. She talked about she's been trying to date white guys, watching Seinfeld and Friends and listening to Coldplay. She's trying to figure out, what do you guys like? What do I got to do? I loved this the first time. I loved this. I even thought it was funnier the second time. Her and Ryan Niemiller, whew, that's going to be a tough one. If I had to pick between the two, man, I don't know if I could. That's like, I don't have kids, but it'd be like picking your favorite kid. It's like they are both great comedians. I'd have to go back and watch their auditions again to kind of figure it out. But based on the quarterfinals, I thought hers was a little bit better than Ryan Niemiller, but I'd have to go back and watch the others to kind of see what I think of them overall.
All right. Well, you are higher on Jackie than I am.
Yeah.
It's fine. Her stage presence is great.
Yeah.
I didn't think the material was that good.
Okay.
It did not connect with me, but judges loved her. Very high praise. Howie said, "You're real, authentic, funny. You deserve to go further." Gabrielle said, "You were fabulous. I can't wait to see your special. Yes. You are a star." Simon said, "My favorite kind of person. Very naughty, very unpredictable. One of my favorite performances tonight." Yeah. So high praise from the judges. Nothing from Julianne on this one, though.
Yeah, her delivery seemed very, very similar to what you'd see on one of the BET comedy specials or on a Comedy Central type special. She just seemed to kind of have that same type of delivery, that same type of the way she'd give the punchline. It's right on par with some of those better those comedians that we would see on those type of specials. Now, Julianne did mention a reference to SVU and Olivia Benson. I think that was in her act. I didn't quite get it. I'm not a big SVU fan, so I'm not really sure what that meant. But that was kind of her only reaction.
Yeah, that one kind of went over my head.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, I guess you were very high on her. A hope enough of America is that you get to see more of her.
Okay. We'll find out here.
We'll go with that. All right. And last act of the night was Iman Beysha, also known as the new Jackie Evanko.
Yes, the new Jackie Evanko, yes.
She sings an opera song like she do. I didn't even write down what song it was. I think I was getting a little bit tired by this point.
Yeah, I want to thank my Shazam for this.
All right.
So I want to give high praise to my Shazam because she sang the song Eben from the opera La Wally.
Thank you.
Yes.
For that.
You're welcome.
She sang beautifully.
Yes.
She's cute as a button. Just adorable throughout. It's one of those things where what she looks like and the voice that comes out of her does not match. Like there's some incongruencies there. Fun to watch. And we consistently see opera singers go further than I expect them to. And to have an opera singer as cute as her, wouldn't be surprised to see her, definitely make it through this round.
Yeah, it's amazing how far opera singers do go. We saw Jackie Evanko finish second. We saw, was it Paul Potts win Britain's Got Talent?
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like we have this obsession with opera singers. We don't get them very often.
Yeah.
We don't get them very often, and maybe that's kind of part of it, and especially little girl opera singers. But we kind of have this obsession with opera singers, even though we don't. We're not fans in America overall, fans of the opera.
Right.
But
I don't
they come
hear
on America's
people talking about the opera's coming to town. Let's go see the opera. Did you see the opera?
Yeah. But when they come on
you know,
America's Got Talent, it's all of a sudden like, did you see that opera singer? Oh, that fantastic little girl. I can't believe that that's her. So it's like.
Yeah. In small doses, I think it's something people really enjoying.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Howie said, I don't like opera. I don't go to opera. But even with that, you are purely an amazing talent. Gabrielle said, the opera world should thank you. Julianne said, what you did transcended anything that I've ever heard of all time, ever. Absolutely. And Simon said, that wasn't just a different level. You're on a different planet. So judges loved her. I don't know that I connected that deeply, as much as the judges did. But I have no complaints. She's very, very good at what she does, and she's fun to watch do it. So
yeah. A couple of additional comments. Simon got a shout out to the Olympics, so we got our Olympics plug.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like watching the Olympics when someone does something amazing. You are gobsmacked.
Gobsmacked. Yeah.
Yes. So I think we're about a year from the Olympics now, so we're going to start seeing that stuff. Simon's got it out there already.
Less than a year from Tokyo 2020.
Yep.
So
yep.
I'm a big Olympics fan. I enjoy tuning in when I can. So I've been sort of watching some behind the scenes stuff at the Olympics here. It's
good.
It's happening.
Yep. You and I both.
It's going to be real.
I'm a huge Olympics fan. So next year when the Olympics come around and AGT takes a 2-week break, you and I will be glued to NBC.
There you go. We'll maybe have some off-season or mid-season content for you guys.
Find some Olympic talent to kind of talk about.
There you go.
So, you ready to talk about some results?
Let's talk results. So there's the 12 acts. You got, as a quick reminder, Detroit Youth Choir, Lucas and Falco, Dom Chambers, Benicio Bryant, Gonzo, Marcin Pichalik, the guitar player, Eric Chen, Barry Wham, Matthew Richardson, Mackenzie, Jackie Fabulous, and Iman. How did the results go down?
Okay, well, we kind of got to go through some other things first real quick. So, I talk about behind-the-scenes type stuff. Well, they fill about 10 minutes of that. They got an hour to fill, 45 minutes, whatever.
Ooh,
so,
baby.
Yeah, so you can't just throw out some results. We got to fill time here. So we do a lot of behind the scenes at the beginning of the episode. And something we saw this time that we've never seen before is we got to see them rehearse.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they kind of showed this like a warehouse or like a practice area studio. So they don't do their preparation on stage. They have a practice area. So we saw Dom Chambers working on his trick. We saw Lucas and Falco talking to production about, hey, it's a little bit higher than the box is a little bit higher than we expected. That little obstacle thing is not quite what we expected. We saw Benicio kind of mention, wow, Mane, she's only 10 years old. We saw some of the different types. We saw Gonzo getting his tambourines ready, stretching and whatnot. So a lot of that stuff that's interesting to me. We kind of get it makes them more, you're not
more
just
human, more relatable.
Human.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. More human, more relatable. These people make mistakes. They don't just come on stage and give an awesome performance. There's a lot of preparation that goes into place to get them ready for a Tuesday night performance.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, we saw the judges react real quickly to Simon's red shirt. So we weren't the only one.
It was red.
It was red, yep. And then we had a small segment about Marmite. We just talked about Marmite.
Oh.
Yeah, so Simon apparently, quote, brought Marmite for the judges. So there was
how nice of him!
How nice of him! Yeah. So
go out and find some and just make sure that he got that brought in for the other judges to try.
Yep. So he had 4 plates of toast with lightly spread Marmite with little British flags poked in them. Howie made the comment that this is something my wife made. Oh, so first off, either hate it or you love it. Just to kind of remind everyone. Howie said, "This is something my wife makes, and my wife is the worst cook in the world." So, yeah.
Okay.
So then we get right into the Duncan save.
Okay.
Okay. So here we go.
Who were the Duncan save acts?
So here are our 3 Duncan save. We get Jackie Fabulous, which I was blown away by. Lucas and Falco.
Okay.
And Marcin.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So one of those acts.
Highlight them.
One of those acts is going to go home. Again, I tracked this week because I think we talked last week that they do the Duncan save, and then like almost immediately they flash up the percentages. So I was kind of tracking a little bit. So they announced the Duncan save, and then they said, voting is now open. Terry talked a little bit more, and then I think they went to the judges for a reaction, and then they came back. Then once they finished that reaction, this was probably 60 seconds, maybe 90 seconds later, boom, they had early results.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's people getting on there and voting pretty quickly. So early results.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, early results that they showed had Jackie Fabulous at 46%, and it was going anywhere between 45 and 46. Lucas and Falco were at 27 to 28, kind of going back and forth, and Marcin was going back and forth between 25 and 26.
Wow.
So Jackie Fabulous getting an early lead in the Duncan save.
Well, Marcin would have been my vote.
Okay, well, good. So then we get into our first result. We get Detroit Youth Choir and Gonzo.
Oh, shoot. Okay. So that means Gonzo's out.
Gonzo's out, yep. So you won't see any more from him unless for some reason they bring him back as a wild card.
We can all have our fingers crossed.
After that result, we get a performance by a Vegas show called Celestia.
Okay. I'm not familiar with this.
I'm not familiar with it. It's a Vegas show, but it's nothing but like acrobats and danger acts. So we saw a couple of, they said they were former AGT performers. I only noticed a couple of them. I only recognized a couple of them. They moved the camera around a lot. It was dark. The performers themselves were moving a lot. It was hard to really focus on who these performers were, but there were 2 that caught my eye. One was the Sandow Russian Bar Trio. Do you remember them?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yep. So that's one of the acts. The other act is our good friends at Deadly Games.
Oh, yeah. The cover your necks.
Yeah, our Brant Steele. Our Brant Steele winner, right?
Did he win?
Wasn't he our Brant Steele winner?
I think he might have. Yeah.
I don't remember.
Oh boy! All right.
So yeah, Russian Bar Trio and Deadly Games were the 2. They had some other performers that were doing just some acrobatic acts, some hand balancing. I'm not sure what it's called, but it's the I don't know. It spins around. It has the 2 circles on the end, and they walk around They walk around the outside or the inside. What's his name? Bello Knock did that in his season. So they had a couple performers doing that. They just had a lot going on the stage. Glad to see Deadly Games and Sandow Russian Bar doing so well performing in Vegas.
Yeah, I remember really enjoying that Russian Bar. She flies so high and does such great tricks.
Yeah.
And when they just for the heck of it add some spikes underneath or whatever, it really does just it's almost heart stopping to me. That's one of the danger acts that I've most enjoyed from AGT history.
Yes.
This is a perfect kind of place for some of our hand balancers, people like Matthew Richardson. Some of these acts that I'm not a full Vegas act, but man, if I can just be part of in a Vegas act like this.
Yes.
Like, definitely something that people can do and can, be a part of a show like that.
Yep.
I'm glad to see that that's a thing that exists.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Now I don't know how they do their full Vegas act, but just this little 3, 4, 5 minute performance, Matthew Richardson would have fit perfect in on this.
Perfect. Yep.
So,
yep.
They then quickly do a segment where they read tweets.
Okay.
Yeah, and I didn't write all of the tweets down, but
were they mean tweets?
Huh? Do what?
Were they mean tweets?
No, they weren't. I mean, they
No?
Not really. There was a couple where people commented on Julianne's hair.
Okay.
One of the weeks where her hair was real frizzy.
Yeah.
Someone asked, "Why does her hair look like ramen noodles?"
Oh.
And actually, Simon and Howie read that tweet, and Simon pronounced it ramen noodles and had no idea what ramen noodles were.
Oh.
And Howie said, "You don't know what ramen noodles are?" And Simon said, "No, I'm British." And Howie said, "No, you're wealthy."
That's yep.
So, there was one. I think that's the only one that really stuck out. But there was not really that were any mean. Some were very complimentary. Of course, they're going to pick those.
Yeah.
None that said, you suck, or, why didn't you vote that person through? None of that stuff.
Okay.
So it was kind of a little fun segment for a couple minutes.
Good. Okay.
Then we get back into results.
Yes.
Okay. And then we get Barry Wham and Amane Bisha.
Oh, man. I have a feeling that America loves Imane a little bit more than Barry Wham. That's too bad.
Yeah, you would be right that they do. I thought this was an upset.
Yeah. Boy, if I had my druthers, I'd go exactly the opposite. Yep.
Yeah. I would have picked Barry Wham. I like both of them. I think both should go through in this particular matchup. That means it must have been Barry Wham was below our Duncan saves. They were below Lucas and Falco and Marcin and Jackie Fabulous.
What'd they do wrong?
I don't know, unless people just they thought their levels they just didn't sound right, that they may have been out of rhythm. There must have been something wrong.
Man, no, they're great. I love Barry Wham.
Yeah.
I'm gobsmacked.
I hope this is one of the wild cards.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it will be, but I hope it is, because I think they're fantastic.
Yeah. All right.
So then we get
okay.
Oh, do you have anything else on that?
Nope.
Okay.
Let's move on.
Then we get Matthew Richardson, Dom Chambers, and Eric Chin.
All three of them.
All three of them.
Okay. Well, Matthew Richardson was already a wild card. After that performance, I don't think I would see him go through. And then we've got the two magicians.
Yeah, both of them.
Is to say both of you go through?
Well, they didn't do it. Both of you go through. Dom Chambers was the first one to go. Oh, sorry. Eric Chen was the first to go through.
Okay.
Then they had Matthew Richardson versus Dom Chambers. And then they put Dom Chambers through.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So both magicians. We lose Matthew Richardson. Yeah. Not a huge surprise.
Yeah, which I'm okay with. Eric Chen's fine. I do think he's better than Matthew Richardson. I think Dom Chambers is better than Eric Chen.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then we get Benicio Bryant versus McKenzie.
The last two, and only one of those is going to get a spot, right?
Yep.
I think Benicio is probably a little bit more memorable than McKenzie, so that'd be my guess.
Yep, that's correct. So Benicio is more memorable, which I'm surprised by this. I would still rather have either Barry Wham or who did I have earlier?
Gonzo.
Maybe Gonzo. Yes, I would still rather have Barry Wham. I think over Benicio.
I think, yeah,
Yep.
definitely.
All
right.
Then we get back to our Duncan save. We get just recap from 4 minutes ago. We get Jackie Fabulous, Lucas and Falco, and Marcin.
Right. Okay. You said Jackie Fabulous had the viewers vote in the early results.
And it was a big lead too.
Yeah, I can believe that she got the viewers' votes then going through.
Yep, she did. Yep.
Did they say what her percentage was?
I don't believe they say that at the end.
Okay.
No,
All right.
we just get those early votes, but they don't tell us what it is afterwards.
No surprise.
Yeah.
They tend to play that pretty close to their chest. But
now I think one thing that Tyra used to do, I don't know if Nick did this, but Tyra would always say, we had this many people vote, and within, and these two acts were within 1% of each other. And I haven't seen Terry do that at all.
No, they haven't. And again, is that Terry's choice or producer's choice or what is it that?
Or does it even matter? I mean,
doesn't matter.
Yeah,
no, it doesn't.
Yeah, what does it even add to it? So that gives us Lucas and Falco versus Marcin.
Okay, well,
Marcin
would have been my vote, and I would have put him through. He would have been top 5 for me, easy.
Okay.
So I think the judges would go with Marcin as well.
So
Simon could possibly go Lucas and Falco because he's a dog lover.
Yeah. So Howie, Gabrielle, and Simon all went with Marcin. Julianne didn't even get to vote since the 3 of them put it through, which I'm glad they did. If you had been watching this, you would have been pulling your hair out. They went to Simon, who was the 3rd judge. He commented he only had 12 seconds. They were playing the credits when he was voting.
Oh my gosh!
While he was voting, and he wasn't even the last judge.
Jeez. All right. Oh.
I cannot stand the judge votes. It's one of the worst part of the shows, in my opinion.
Yeah, I get why they do it, but it's not. It's not the payoff that I think they want it to be.
Yeah. It causes more issues, especially because I'm sure someone up in the production booth is just yelling at them. Would you please say something?
I was like, oh my gosh, shoehorn it in. We got to get and it's out. Good night, everybody.
Yep. So then they tell us who's going to be performing next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's performing next week?
So we get Greg Morton.
Okay.
Tyler Butler Figueroa.
Our impressionist.
Yep. Tyler Butler Figueroa.
Okay.
In Lovu Youth Choir.
Okay.
Ainsley Burns.
Ainsley, she's back.
She's
still in. The roller coaster ride continues.
There was an article that popped up in my feed the other day that said Ainsley Burns could be the first wild card to win America's Got Talent. And I was like,
could be.
Well, she is one of the top 24 acts. I guess she could, but
she's the only wild card that could win it this year.
She is the only wild card. Well, we still have another one. We have a wild card coming back.
You're right. Never mind.
So we have Robert Finley.
Okay, our old blind guy.
Yeah, we have Light Balance, but the kids version.
Oh, Light Balance. It's like Light Balance,
yes.
But it's Light Balance
with
it's kids.
Yes.
Okay.
Cody Lee.
I remember him.
Yep. The Massaudi brothers.
Love them.
So get ready for Gabrielle and Julianne to just go nuts.
Sounds like a Tuesday night.
Spicy Tuesday night.
Spicy Tuesday night is what I mean. Yeah.
Eric Chin, so he's got to come up with something in a week.
I'm sure he's got something up his sleeve.
Yep. And then, so this is all from tonight. Eric Chin, Benicio Bryant, Jackie Fabulous, and then a wild card.
Okay. And we don't know who that wild card's going to be.
No. And then we get a guest judge, and we don't know who that's going to be.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's about.
I'm curious. So the guest judge isn't going to get a golden buzzer, are they?
No, but that does give us 5 judges, which makes it an odd number, which I'm happy with, but that's still, they've got to start. They're still going to be rolling the credits by the time they get to that 5th judge.
Yeah. At the 45-minute mark, they have to start the judges deliberating who their who their Duncan save's going to be.
So I'm happy that there's an odd number judge, but it's still going to be a timing issue. But that's not my problem. I'm just glad there's an odd number of judges.
So after 3 quarterfinals,
yes.
We've got 21 acts.
Yes.
We're adding 1 to make it a total of 22 acts. Was there 11 performing each night?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That'd be 12. So 11 plus a wild card.
Do you think there will be 2 more wild cards in the second?
No, there'll be a 1 wild card. There's 11 plus a wild card.
but there's only 10 remaining acts for the second semifinal. So they might add 2 more to make it 12 total acts each night.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there may be 3 more wild cards coming back. So we've...
AGT just kind of makes this stuff up as they go.
There's no rules.
We're flexible. It's Hollywood.
Yeah, so let's see. According to my spreadsheet, then, the second night, the second semifinals, we've got Marcin, Dom Chambers, Detroit Youth Choir, Iman Beisha, V Unbeatable, Ryan Niemiller, Chris Clafford, Alex Dowis, Voices of Service, Luke Islam, and then 2 more wild cards.
Well, then I guess we kind of need to look at, I may have to pull up my notes, if we want to take some time to kind of go through who was eliminated in quarterfinals and see who we want to come back as a wild card. Do we want to do that?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
Nothing but time here. Well, I've got, let's see, I can do this. If we go I'll go alphabetical order of the acts that could possibly be wild cards. All right.
Okay.
Barry Wham.
Yeah, that would be a vote for me, yes.
I'd like to see them.
Yep.
Beer Kalsa.
Okay.
I'd like to see them. I think that they are one of the most memorable acts of the season.
Yes.
Carmen Carter, backup singer.
That would be number 3 on my list. I mean, 3 out of 3. Okay.
All right.
Keep going.
Charlotte Summers.
Let's see. Let's take the Starline tour. She was a singer?
Yeah, she's the teen singer from Britain.
Oh, yeah. So that'd be 4 out of 4 for me. She'd be number 4 on the list. Okay.
All right.
Keep going.
Emerald Bells.
I would probably rather see Emerald Bells over the singers. So put her at number 3 for me.
Yeah, they're at least variety. I love to see that.
Yep.
Then we've got G-Force.
G-Force would probably be the bottom one. Well, no, I'd still like to see them over the individual singers. So 5. I'd say, I guess 4 now. Yeah.
Okay. All right. You're going to start confusing yourself.
I know. I'm trying to keep track of it. Keep going.
All right. We got Gonzo.
Gonzo I would see above the singers, but above G-Force.
So, remember, in the world of Sethward, like, he is a comedian. He's an entertainer.
Yeah.
And he's entertaining. So, I find him memorable and I find him enjoyable. So, I'm all in on Gonzo.
Right. Well, are you all in on Gonzo? Would you want to see him above Barry Wham?
Probably not.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. I would want to see him at maybe the 4th spot or the 3rd or 4th spot, one of the 2.
I would not be disappointed to see him back. I'll say that much. Joseph Allen. This was Howie's golden buzzer been eliminated, so it wouldn't be terribly surprised to see them bring him back.
Yeah, I kind of enjoyed him. Okay, I'm gonna kind of backtrack here. So I had Barry Wham at number 1. Let's kind of go back just real quick.
Yep.
Okay, go back through the list real quick.
Barry Wham.
Yeah, that's my number 1. Okay.
Beer Kalsa.
Yeah. Okay.
Carmen Carter.
Beer Kalsa. Okay, and then Carmen Carter, and I'm gonna go ahead and bump her down. Okay.
Charlotte Summers.
I would rather see Charlotte above Carmen. Okay.
All right. Emerald Bells.
Yeah, they would be above the singers. Okay, keep going.
All right. Gonzo.
I'm gonna put Gonzo below the Emerald Bells. Okay.
Okay, I skipped G-Force. Sorry.
I would put G-Force before Gonzo. I hate to say it. I know you don't agree with that, but I'm going to put G-Force above Gonzo.
You are allowed your opinion.
Thank you.
All right. We got Joseph Allen.
Yeah, I'm going to keep him down there. Well, I'm going to put him above. He's going to be in my number 4 spot. Okay.
All right. We got Lucas and Falco.
Yeah, I don't know how much more they can do. I'm going to keep. Okay.
For the feels, man. For the feels.
I know. Okay, keep going.
All right. Mackenzie.
Mackenzie's dead last. He's got nothing. I'm sorry. He has nothing.
Okay.
He's, yeah.
That's fine.
Okay.
Marina Mazepa.
the contortionist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Formerly ballerina.
Yeah. Let's see. I better start numbering these. She's going to be in my 8th spot.
Okay. Matthew Richardson.
I'm going to put him below her.
Would they wild card him twice?
I doubt it. With some of these others, I mean, like Barry Wham, like Beer Kalsa, I would be really surprised with that. I mean, I've got him down in like the 9 spot right now.
Yeah. All right. Nick and Lindsay.
Nick and Lindsay. Let's see here.
The knife throwers.
Yeah,
you might remember her from
they're a lot of fun, but
wiping her feet once.
They made too many mistakes, and they sang that Ring of Fire.
It was pretty awful.
That act was. They do have potential because their audition and judge cut was pretty good. They just made a lot of mistakes here.
They won't be back. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't. You're right. I'm going to put them down here at the bottom.
All right. Similarly, the Sentimentalists.
Yeah, they'll be at the
They've
bottom
already
too.
been wild carded once. We're not going to see them again. Yep. Sophie Pecora, I think we could see her. She was Brad Paisley's golden buzzer. I know you weren't high on her,
singer?
And that's the last one.
Yeah,
yep,
that's the last one. Yeah, so she's okay. So my top 3 within, and I don't think they would agree with this: Barry Wham, Beer Kalsa, and the Emerald Bells. Yeah, that's tough. That's
Barry Wham, Beer Kalsa. My 3rd would be, man, would it really be Gonzo?
Yours would be Gonzo because
like he's the only one that like really. You know what? Probably Marina would be my 3rd.
Okay. I could see them go with Marina. I could see them go with Joseph Allen, or Lucas and Falco. That would
or Sophie.
Or Sophie. Sophie, yeah, that's probably the other one.
Yeah, because Sophie was beat out by Ainsley to get that get the judges' vote or America's vote.
Yeah, and that was the first quarterfinals where there was a glitch, right?
There was a glitch, right?
Yeah.
So for all those reasons, I wouldn't be terribly surprised to see Sophie.
Yeah, and I did think she was better than Ainsley.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. So. Boy, well, it's a crowded field vying for those wild card spots where they can be again eliminated before the finals. So, the wild cards, I kind of feel like if you've been eliminated, you're not going to win $1 million.
Yeah.
Like, there's just no way.
Yeah, you've already had your shot, and people didn't vote for you the first time.
Right. So, but. Again, it's a TV show. They're trying to make entertainment. These acts are entertaining. What else is there to say?
Yeah, it's not just a competition. It is
put entertainment on my TV.
Put entertainment on TV, and it's also I'm big on the nostalgia stuff. It's like, hey, we just saw them a couple weeks ago. It's great to see them again. That's why we loved Champions so much. It's like, hey, remember that performer from 10 years ago? Well, here they're back. So it's a lot of that for me too. So.
Yep. All right. Well, I think we've thoroughly discussed this episode, and kind of looking forward to the semis here.
Yeah, we're going a little long again this week, Jay. I think we're kind of breaking our own records week after week.
All right. Well, I got studying to do. I'm taking some microbiology and some. For all sorts of thanatology. It's all wonderful stuff, but man, being a student again, it's different than I remember it.
If you're taking thanatology, make sure you get your 6 infinity stones.
That's okay. All right. Well, everybody, with that, I'm not sure that we said it at the top, so we'll say it now. You can reach out to me at OneManBander. You can reach out to Cody at Cody L. Patterson. On Twitter, we're at AGT Time. Let us know who you think your top 3 would be for the wild cards at AGT Time. Of course, you can also hit us up on Facebook, AGTcast, or agtcast@gmail.com. And with that, I will tell you all, have a happy week, and you're welcome for not sucking again.
Yeah, and have a good Labor Day. We get a long weekend, 3-day weekend this week.
Yes.
So have a happy
Enjoy.
happy, safe and Labor Day.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.